Hey, Yanavinaka, good morning.
Yanda.
Welcome back to Breakfast at Fiji One. It's Mavis and Tai with you this Tuesday morning, last day for the month of August. And yes, it's a pleasure to have our guest this morning with us in studio. We were talking about it earlier on. We've only spoken to her, or Mavis particularly, has spoken to her over Zoom. But it's really nice to have her in person on the set this morning, Mavis.
And Dr. Rosi is looking lovely in purple. Good morning to you, Rosi. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Yanavinaka.
And Yanavinaka, Tai, it's good to be here this morning.
Yeah.
A lot different from seeing you on Zoom and then having you here in person. It's like Mavis was saying, it's a lot better when we talk to the person directly.
But I was excited.
But thank you so much for making time to come in this morning. And just going back to the previous interviews and chit chats that Mavis and you were doing earlier on, and particularly during this particular time, and how important it is, the topics and just the advice and tips that you've been giving through those Zoom interviews. And this morning we will be continuing with the talks on that, but this time round it's to do with adaptive learning, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, care to just tell us and just let our viewers know a bit more about adaptive learning?
Thank you. Actually, this discussion came out of my discussion, my talanoa with the principals last week at the principals conference. It was a virtual conference.
Right.
So their topic was adaptive leadership for safe, healthy and protected schools.
Okay.
And I'm not an expert in leadership, but I have a philosophy that everyone is a leader in their own right, because we got to lead our own selves in order to survive. But to be a great leader, it comes with practice. So is all these adaptive learning strategies and adaptive leadership. It's founded on the adaptation theory, where it's the survival of the fetus, but to be able to survive, you got to adapt. You have to change to suit the context in which you are in. And what better time it is than now, when we are bombarded with change and information every second. So we got to be up to date with those things and take on board what's relevant for what's happening in order for us to be able to address the issues that we are facing, whether it be at home, whether it be in the community, whether it be in school or in the nation. So those are some of the things that we got to be upskilled with. We got to be updated with information, relevant and valid information. We have to talk to people. Change is not always easy, because not because we can't, but because in the process of change we lose some of the things that we are accustomed to. So we have to be respectful in the way we bring about change, but at the same time listen to the resistance, because in that resistance you'll be able to identify creative and innovative ideas that you can use to be able to re-strategize, re-evaluate the solution that you have already implemented, to better it, to perfect it, so that it meets the needs of the children of the society.
Dr. Rosi, I'm glad you mentioned that, because it's like, having to adapt is like taking you out of your comfort zone into a new area. I liken it to a student who's probably graduating from primary to secondary level. They've got to find their base, they've got to make new friends. It's pretty much like that.
Yes, and in the education system it's interesting, because the transition needs to be smooth, but sometimes it's not. Like, for example, taking a child from home and taking the child to school for the first time in kindergarten. So for some the experience can be traumatic, and yes, so that's where we come in as parents. That's where we come in as community leaders, to show them empathy, that we feel what they're feeling, and that we find solutions to address how they feel about the situation that they're in, so that their experience can be more enjoyable.
Go ahead.
And as we said earlier, schools are re-strategizing, parents are re-strategizing, revamping their budget, you know, diverting or redirecting lunch money and bus fare to purchase laptops, to purchase gadgets so their children can to make up home classroom. So some parents are doing that, as well as schools. Now the schools are delivering students worksheets to the homes, you know, rather than waiting for them to get internet and be able to connect to Google Classroom or whatever. So it's very important that we adapt, we perfect, you know, the practices that we have in order to be able to address the needs of our children and members of our community.
So these some of during your Talno session with the principals, what are some of the features that actually came out, like they probably spoke more on in terms of adaptive learning?
Well, actually, they asked me about what USP is doing in relation to learning, and as mentioned in one of our discussion earlier, USP, we're learning remotely. Everything is either online or on print. So no one is allowed in school, but students can access through Moodle. We use what's called Moodle as a classroom. For students who don't have access to internet or any gadget, we send them what we call the OPP, or offline print packs. So if they're around the containment area, this is what happened last semester, we would deliver to their homes through courier. But this semester, we're still delivering. However, instead of the schools printing, we have a centralized print shop that prints the print pack and delivers them to the students.
Convenient.
Yes. So we would like them to continue to learn. And we also spoke about one of our group from college, Teachers College, that they have created a Facebook page called The Backup, and they're providing lessons for students in high school. So they are perfecting also their lessons to suit the needs of the students that like their page and participate in their classes.
Wow. In terms of, like, with this change, just from your observations, how are they adjusting to it really well with this new way of learning?
Some of them, yes. Some of them, some of them resist. We get angry emails from students and sometimes staff as well. But as an adaptive leader, you got to be calm yourself. You got to be able to understand how they feel, respect how they feel, and find a better way of addressing, their anger, their frustration. So for me, it's just a nice email sent back to them. Apologize, even if you don't have to, smile if you don't have to, just to calm them down, because when people get agitated and frustrated, it is not good, because it's not good for them, for their health, not good for you, and not good for learning.
Oh my goodness. So I'm glad that you mentioned about USP, what USP is doing. Apart from that, what else, other programs or ways of, in terms of adaptive learning, that USP is actually working on right now?
With the education discipline, we have students who do practicum. And to do a practicum, they have to go out into schools and be a part of the school. So this semester, because they can't go, we have integrated all the facilities we have. So we have Moodle, and we also have Portfolio, we have Mahara. These are new learning tools. And we've discussed with them, we've skilled them of the use of Google Classroom, because that is what we understand most of the schools are using. So with Google Classroom, they're able to enroll their students into their classroom and teach. and at the same time there's someone there to observe and see how they manage their class, how they teach their class, and assess them through Google Classroom. So that's one of the ways in which we have adapted. But if students would like to know more, we're having our virtual week this week. So we rolled out our new website on Monday, and throughout the week we will be having sessions, so they can log into our website www.usp.ac.fj and be able to explore the other events that are happening this week.
Awesome. That's really interesting. Thank you very much, Dr. Rosi. Unfortunately, we've run out of time. We'd like to sit and talk more about it because it sounds really interesting. But just before you leave this morning, for those students who would be watching breakfast this morning, just any final words from you?
Well, as I said earlier, we are bombarded with change. But in order for us to be able to survive and thrive, we got to respect everyone, respect each other's opinion, and become, when we go through situations where we are uncomfortable or we are frustrated because if we don't, then we always get in trouble. So all the best to those students who will be coming to USP this week virtually, but we hope that the borders will open soon and we'll be able to see you all face to face, as well as students in the kindergarten, primary, and also secondary school. I know they're dying to go to school, but take this, take the change as an opportunity to perfect whatever skills that you were lacking before. And that is one advantage of the adaptive leadership or adaptive learning, is that you take the problem or take the issue as an opportunity to perfect your skills.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, Dr. Rosi, for coming in this morning. It's been a pleasure talking to you, and of course we'll see more of you in the coming weeks. Thank you very much for your company, and for those watching on breakfast this morning, know that virtual week is happening, and of course that's in the coming week, and of course Dr. Rosi has just told us about that, so that's something interesting for you this morning. All right, stay with us, and we come back after the break. We've got more.